Senior Center restart. Just days after Rockford City Council awarded it more than $250,000, the nonprofit director who pushed for the facility shares his regret and reasoning behind the sudden change.
Rockford leaders anticipated the return of the area's first senior center in more than a decade, but the wait resumes. WIFR's Nathaniel Langley learns how concerns over financial stability led to another property surge.
Sydney, Jake, the Northwestern Illinois Area Agency on Aging wants to stay financially independent. With that goal, its director eyes new locations as an affordable space for seniors to enjoy.
I'm here to admit my mistake.
Jeffrey Barnes says he would like to apologize.
I regret not being more transparent.
On Monday, Rockford City Council offered his nonprofit $300,000 for a senior center.
I don't want to have to go back to the City Council in 3 years again and ask for more funding just to keep this promise.
A day after approval, the Northwestern Illinois Area Agency on Aging axed plans to open a facility in the former River Valley Community Church.
The space is so large, it's still an expensive space to occupy.
NIA's Senior Center Committee now eyes purchasing the former Illinois Bank and Trust on East State Street.
This location on State Street has a higher level of visibility, and it's more likely to attract people just to stop in.
Barnes says the building's mortgage would be half of what the nonprofit pays for its office off South Alpine Road.
It really became a question of fiscal responsibility.
A little bit of concern in regards to how that communication came out.
But City Administrator Todd Cagnoni won't close the door on Rockford supporting a senior center in the future.
I will evaluate whether there's a role for the city and should there be, bring something forward to City Council.
NIA may choose a new location by the end of February.
I hope that I can earn the mayor and City Council's trust again.
Besides possibly purchasing the 4048 East State Street building for $500,000, NIA also considers a lease elsewhere. Barnes didn't wish to share where that would be, but stressed his priority of opening a facility will be in Rockford.
The city's funds came from unspent dollars from the American Rescue Plan. Cagnoni mentioned the $300,000 will be available for other projects and could be allocated for a future senior center depending on council approval.